Beatrice top. The first thing we're going to do is to cut out our pattern, and what you need to do is check your scale. It should be 5 centimeters long or an inch if that's what you prefer, and then we're going to put the pattern together. Let's just have a look at the back page, which always has your assembly plan on it. All you need to do is check what you need. For example, the front has A and B, the back has A, B and C, and it depends how much I can get onto a page, and I try not to waste paper, but I can't go too close to the edges because that might result in something being cut off, or printers are different and some of them unfortunately do that. So now you can see here those attachment lines, and that's where we're going to put a pattern piece together. So here we've got A and B for the bow, and I'm going to cut both out just to demonstrate that. So the system for Frocks and Frolics always is put your pattern pieces together in alphabetical order. Here we've got A and B, and you can also see you've got this like notch there, a little mark, so you can see what belongs together, and it makes it a lot easier. It's quite a quick method as well, and it doesn't waste paper. It's like having everything layered, and this is basically me doing the layers for you. Now we can have a look at the pattern pieces. They're all together. For all of you that are not familiar with my patterns yet, the front always has a white flower on it, so if you're cutting everything out, you can put all the bits with a white flower to one side, everything with a pink flower to the other. That's always the back. And then on the sleeve I always got a yellow flower, so that's basically my little system. The rest has nothing on it. So let's go and see what these pieces are. The back has an integrated facing here. That's where we're going to have the buttons. So I just want to explain it to you. It says forward here, and there you see CB, that's center back. So I want to forward this over where we have got the forward line. Yeah, so the dashed line is your forward line. And there we go. I'm just going to forward this over so we can see it. And that is where your buttons are going to sit, and I haven't made it very big. I don't want huge buttons on there, so very cute little buttons are going to go down that line, and you can decide what size you want. And then to finish off the back, and this is beautiful, is a little facing, which is cut on the forward, goes round the front, and then comes round the back from here. And what we will do is simply sew these together, yeah, 1 centimeter seam allowance here, and it'll just sit in like that. Then it's just folded over and gives you a completely clean look on the inside. So this would be the inside view, right? You've got your facing here, and then you've got your facing up here. What I've seen people do is fold this in here, fold that in, and then, you know, have them kind of hanging loose. And that's not what you want. You want to make sure that one of the first things we do is sew this together, okay? And then it goes on like that. And this can be a bit confusing when you're starting to put it together because you haven't done the fold yet, and you're thinking, oh, this doesn't fit, look, it's too short. But it does, because we're going to fold the facing back on itself. And that's how it then works. So that's the facing, and the facing also wraps around to the front, of course. Let me just pop that on here, and it will fit exactly this shape, so there's no difference. The one thing you can do, which is quite nice, is if you decide not to put a collar on, you can just use the facing to create a stitch line out here, which would then run out there as well, and then you just have a very plain blouse as well. But if you want to put on the collar, which I think is absolutely stunning, then this is what we're going to do. You're going to put the collar on here, and if you want to have this beautiful effect with a bow that you can see blended in as well, then you need your loop as well, and we're going to fold the loop in half. If you're not sure which way, that way or this way, with the arrow, right? You sew along there, turn it, and then we're going to fold this over. I'm going to fold this over here, to there, and it's going to be wrapped around your finished collar, and that will push the collar together. And it's a bit hard to do here with a paper, so I'm just gonna like, oops, do it like that. So you push it around and you sew that together on that side, and that gives you that really beautiful effect. This will then sit there and it's nicely crunched into that point, and we can then take the bow, which comes in these pieces, and it's going to be folded over like so, and then ruched together in the middle, and it's just going to be put through there. And you can use different fabrics for it, so that you can vary your bow, and your girl can say, oh, I want that bow, or today I want that bow. You can also create different bows for it, and we have got quite a few examples here. I've also got those blended in, and they will all be in the course in due course, but the basic bow is going to be this one that comes with your pattern. One thing to remind you all of is that if you do this in linen, for example, you do not want to have this fold over. It will be way too thick to go through there. When you do the fold over bow, where we sew around, leave a turning gap and turn it, it can only be very light materials. If they are too thick, it just will be too hard to do, and it won't look that nice. So very, very light fabrics for this only. What you can do if you want to do a linen bow is just cut 1/2, and then you can create a narrow rolled edge hem all the way around. You can do that. You can do it on the overlock if you like. That might be nice. Or alternatively, you can bind it. That also works if you use a binding, and it might actually look really nice. And we're going to try a few of the bows in the bonus chapter. And now we're going to have a look at our little sleeve. Now, this is just one sleeve you can put in. You can literally put quite a few of the Frocks and Frolics sleeves in, if you like. Quite a lot, like a gorgeous puff sleeve with a turn up. And you can see that blended in here. That will fit as well. But with this pattern, you get the short sleeve, which is also really, really cute. I think it's very stylish. You can choose which one of the many sleeve patterns that I do you want to put in. And we're going to cut that 4 times, 2 times in lining and 2 times in shell, and it's basically just sewn together and turned in, so that you have a really neat edge. If you wanted to bind this, you could do that as well, of course. The last thing I want to quickly explain to you are those lovely vents down here. I think they are really, really lovely. And if you don't want to put a vent in because you say, well, I'm not quite checked out for that, then all you have to do is just draw a line straight down from here and just cut your vent off, or your slit. Now I'm going to do the vents with a slit. I think they are really, really nice. So I'm going to cut them off my pattern piece and on here as well. Oh, whoops. And I've worked them out quite exactly, which is really cool. Took me a while. I tried to work it out mathematically, and it just didn't come out right. So in the end, it was a trial and error, and I finally got it completely right. And I'm loving these. I've also put those on the trousers, because once you've worked it out, it's forever, right? And if you ever want to put vents into something different, you just copy my vents out and put them into whatever it is you're making. And you can see here that when these are sewn together, how beautiful that fits is absolutely perfect. So to sew a vent, all you have to do is take the pieces, put them on top of each other. Don't put them like that and think, oh, it needs to fit or something. No, just fold them over to that very point there, sew along it, and you get a beautiful, beautiful vent. You don't have to do them, but definitely I think you should. And that's the front, the back, the sleeve, your little bow. We've got the loop for the bow, our collar, and then we've got the facing. And like I said, you don't even need to put a collar in. You could do just the facing. You can also use the loop here to put in your bow without using the collar. So you've got quite a lot of options, and we are now going to go on and cut all this out in our next chapter. So I'll see you there.